Games, adjusting things off camera that I can't show you. I'm here today for another round of Rolling Realms. We have Euphoria, Between Two Castles, and Charterstone. Um, my realtor is trying to have a conversation with me, which I appreciate, but I don't need to have a conversation with my realtor, especially not over text right now. And I don't need a realtor because I have a house. Um, all right, we're playing with Euphoria, Between Two Castles, and Charterstone today. All three from the original core game. You don't need any promos to play along today. Yesterday I played with all three new promo realms. Hopefully you had some fun with that, learning and playing those. I see Jonathan is back for another round. Jonathan, hopefully you can beat my score today. I got you by a few points yesterday, a few stars. Let's jump in. We know Euphoria, Between Two Castles, Charterstone. Yeah, we want doubles basically for Euphoria. Hey, Chad, thanks for playing along today. Doubles right off the bat. Pair of threes. Fantastic. So, that's amazing. So right away, with a single die, we can mark both of the threes in Euphoria and get 2 coins right off the bat. I can't imagine anyone playing this. In fact, I would dare someone playing this to not use those threes in Euphoria and see how that works out for you. It might work out. You never know. So I've only used 1 3. I can use another 3 elsewhere if I want. I know I need to do something every turn in Between Two Castles. So let's do this. I will use a 3 in Between Two Castles right there. And then I will create a 1, use it in Charterstone to gain a pumpkin, and mark a 3 down there in the crate in Charterstone. All right, turn 2. A pair of 1s. Pair of 1s. All right. We're off to a great start here in Euphoria. An interesting start, actually, because we're not actually getting any stars from it, but we are being very efficient with Euphoria to get... Actually, no, we are getting stars now. That is the start of the stars. 2 stars for Euphoria. We're in that range. Only had to use 1. We still have another 1 to use elsewhere. I don't want to use it... I can't use it in Charterstone. So let's use it in Between Two Castles to get a heart and another coin. That gives us... Yeah, let's use 2 coins as a 2 and mark a 1 in Charterstone. Get another pumpkin. We lose some of the flexibility of those coins, but I think it'll be okay. All right, more pairs maybe? Okay, our pair streak ended with a 5 and a 1. Probably good to get something different in there. 5 and a 1. Again, the 1 doesn't work in Charterstone, but I like the 5. Let's put a 5 there and a 1 down below. Get a coin. And now we have a 1 to use, and we can also create a 1 if we want. I'll put a 1 over here in Between Two Castles, the easy 1 over there. And we have a 1 left. I can't use a 1 in Euphoria, so I think that'll end that turn. Playing pretty fast and loose with these realms. Feel free to pause if I go a little bit too fast. Here's roll number 4. A 4 and a 6. We haven't seen a 2 yet, but we've seen all other numbers rolled on the dice. A 4 and a 6. I don't love that in Charterstone because I have to write yet another number in the crates, but I could have up to 3 numbers in the crates and still cross off all of them, so that could be okay. The 6 is also good in Between Two Castles if I want to go with that, and the 4 is good in Euphoria. Yeah, the 4 works in Euphoria if I get some 4s and 2s over there. So I like a few of these numbers. The only number I really don't like... Yeah, actually, yeah, let's do this. Let's put a 6 over here, mark a 4 down below. Get a coin. I now have a 4 to use. You know, I'll put the 4 in Between Two Castles. I think that's the safe bet here. I'll put the 4 right here in Between Two Castles, and then I'll create a 2 for Euphoria. I'm a little ahead of the curve in Euphoria. I probably don't need to do this, but just in case, I'm going to put a 2 over here in Euphoria. Watch me roll a pair of 2s now. We'll see on turn 5 what I get. Almost a pair of 6s, I think, there. 6 and a 3. 6 and a 3. I don't really want to use either of them in Euphoria. I can't use the 6 over here. I could use a 3 in Charterstone, but if I do that, I am writing yet another number down below in the crates. I'm not getting 6 stars if I do that. Chad's rooting for more 5 and 3s. I haven't, no more 5 and 3s yet today, Chad. Rolled a bunch of them yesterday. I could manipulate. No, I can't. Well, yeah. I could manipulate. I'd have to manipulate that 6 into a 4 to write another 3 down below. Because you can't, whatever number you note in the crate, you can't manipulate it. It just has to be one of the numbers on the dice. So is that worth it, using pumpkins to manipulate the 6, then using the 3 over here in between 2 castles? I would need to get a pumpkin first, which I don't have. So let's use the 3 in Charterstone, marking the 6 down below. And then I'll put the 6 in between 2 castles. That should be useful later. All right, and we'll need those pumpkins for between 2 castles if we want to complete that anyway. Here is a 6 and a 1. A 6 and a 1. The rolls aren't really coming up for Euphoria now. I wonder if anyone did take that dare earlier and if that is somehow working out. It really doesn't work for Charterstone, although I could use the 1 or the 6 to cross off some crates. I will probably do that. The 6 does work in between 2 castles in this column, if I want to do that. I could also manipulate that 1 into a 2 and place it over in Euphoria. But again, I will need those pumpkins later in between 2 castles. Pumpkins. Let's put a... I'll just do what I think is safe right now. I'll put a 6 right there. I will use a 1 to cross off these 2 crates and gain 2 stars. Safe approach, nothing risky, might not pay off in the end. Turn 7. A 5 and a 2. Okay, first rolled 2. I was looking for a 2 over here in Euphoria. 2 is also now good in between 2 castles. I'm going to put the 2 in Euphoria. Let's get that star. We wanted that 2. And now we want 4s in Euphoria. This 5 could go in Charterstone. I don't really want it to go in Charterstone, though. Let's put it in between 2 castles as a... Do I want to work towards those pumpkins? Let's work towards the coins. I could really benefit from those coins. You can see Walter's tail back there. There's Walter. All right, Jonathan, Chad, what are you hoping for in these last 2 rolls? I really want a 4. Yeah, I want 4s. Simple as that. I want some 4s. That's another 5 and a 2. Definitely not a 4. But I could manipulate that 5 into a 4 if I really need to. I could put the 5 here and use the 2... Can't really use the 2 if I do that. You know, this might be the turn to double up on between 2 castles. So if I use the 5, I don't think it really matters which order I do this in. I'll put a 5 right there to gain 2 pumpkins. Then I will use 3 pumpkins to change that 2, say, into a 3. And use it again in between 2 castles to gain 2 coins. I now haven't used any other realms. I don't think that really helped all that much, actually. Because I have some coins to use in those other realms, but I can't get a lot out of them. So I really need to roll a pair of 4s in this last turn. I do have numbers to use. So I'm good on between 2 castles. I'm trying to do a little bit more in Charterstone. We'll see if it works out. Last roll. Give me some 4s. Not even close. In fact, I have numbers that are quite far away. I have a 1 and a 6. So the 1 works in between 2 castles. I might as well do that. Get 2 hearts. I'm getting all the stars from between 2 castles. That's great. Unfortunately, I'm not crossing enough Charterstone crates. I might as well... so I'm thinking I might as well use the 6 here. Yeah, I'll use the 6 just to cross off that crate, get another star. I will then copy the 6. Does that do anything? So if I copy a 6, I will gain 2 resources. I'm using 2 resources to do that, so that probably isn't worth it. So I think that's probably the end of the road there. So my final score. Let me know how you do in the comments below. Remind me of what score I got if you're in the future. I am getting 13.8. I think that might be what Jonathan had yesterday. 13.8. That ended up... so if I had known the future, I would have known that I was going to roll some 2s. Maybe I wouldn't have used that early 2 in Euphoria. That might have helped out later. But we never really got the 4s. I rolled only 1 4. And maybe I should have used it there in Charterstone when I had the chance. I probably didn't need to use it at that moment in between 2 castles. But putting the 6 over here was useful too. So I had fun. That's all that matters. Thanks for playing along live or in the future. And again, let me know what you score in the comments below. I'll be back tomorrow for round 3. I'll see you then. Bye.